Hi guys, for anyone following politics, they know who Victoria Derbyshire is and her ability to hold government ministers and MPs to account. Well, the Conservative chairman Richard Holden didn't escape her grilling when he appeared on Newsnight. So he was asked about immigration and how Tory leader after Tory leader had promised as part of their manifesto pledges to bring it down. Holden at first admitted that his party had failed, then perhaps realising what he had just said, started blaming the EU for immigration numbers. And then finally he was asked about the number of visas issued by his government. Amazing stuff, have a listen.
Why should voters trust you when it comes to net migration in terms of bringing it down? Let me go through all the Tory pledges on this. 2010, Mr Cameron promised in the election campaign he'd bring net migration down to tens of thousands per year. Did that happen?
Well, it's quite clear that's not what's happened.
Right, 2015 Conservative manifesto, the pledge was reiterated. Did that happen?
Well, I think we've also seen huge, big changes.
Did that happen?
No, it clearly didn't.
2017, Theresa May reiterated the tens of thousands pledge. Did that happen?
No.
2019 Conservative manifesto.
Victoria, you can go through all of these, and it's quite clear that we haven't achieved what we'd like to achieve.
It's really important because you've made this promise at every single election, and in fact, you've delivered the complete opposite. Because of policies you've implemented, the numbers have gone up and up and up. So I ask again, why should voters believe you this time?
I think in some areas, I mean, one of the big things that we saw, obviously, during that, at the start of some of those periods, was we obviously still in the European Union in 2015, for example, when there was no controls on net migration.
But wait a minute. Yes, there were controls on net migration, so you could have brought down net migration if you wanted. You could deport people. But why did you make pledges if you believed that you couldn't control migration? Like, you made these pledges in 2010 and 2015 before the referendum. So why was the party making pledges if you're saying, well, we couldn't actually control net migration because we're still in the EU? So you were lying to the public before Brexit, and you're lying to the public after Brexit.
We've obviously
it went higher after Brexit when you promised to take back control.
Well, there was obviously around that situation. There's also figures because we didn't know who was in the country at that point. Many people then registered British citizens or for indefinite leave to remain, or under the various different schemes we had because we didn't know.
Net migration last year is double. It's double what it was in 2015,
exactly,
the year before Brexit.
Which is why we're bringing in these. A panoply of changes right across the piece, but particularly around student visas and other areas. And it's also why we've got to deal with the illegal migration as well, which is...
Well, can I just as a sort of context, really, as a government, you focus very much on what you call illegal migration. But let's just get those figures in perspective. 30,000 people crossed the Channel on small boats, according to the Home Office last year. Your government issued 1.44 million visas to people last year. So people can see the difference.
Yes. See, this is wonderful. This is calling them out. This is holding them to account. They lied to the public, and those lies get sort of brushed aside, generally. Real journalists call them out on it. Now, why have the Conservatives been banging on about immigration? Because they think, or they have thought for a number of years that they can use this as a tool against the Labour Party. We're the party you come to when you want to deal with immigration. Vote for us to bring down immigration. Now, it was a lie or a failure. Which is it? You were either lying to the public before Brexit, or you're failing the public after Brexit. Because you said we need to leave the European Union in order to bring down immigration. Immigration has gone up. Now, I don't see it as a problem, and most reasonable people don't see it as a problem, because there are massive vacancies in the country. You need immigration. You can't train up enough people. You can't force enough people off benefits into doing these jobs. So you actually need immigrants. That the government understands this. The politicians are talking out of the other side of their mouth when they say we need to bring down numbers. This is a rhetorical trick with the public they're trying to play, but they have painted themselves into a corner because they thought in the past, well, this is something we can use against the Labour Party and we'll be fine. Until the end of time, we can talk about we're the party of immigration, we're the party to deal with so-called illegal immigration. But along came UKIP and along came Reform UK. And these parties have said, well, we're actually to the extreme of the Conservatives when it comes to immigration. We'll reduce it down to zero, or net zero, as Richard Tice likes to say. So the Conservatives thought that they had this niche of the market, but somebody else came along and has overtaken them. And now they're left in a position where they have to scramble around looking for some sort of rhetoric they can use to say, well, actually, we're the party that will deal with it. Don't go to reform. They'll just allow Labour to get in, and then they're going to have open borders. So they're trying to sell now this idea that, well, a vote for reform is a vote for Labour, and a vote for Labour is a vote for open borders and no control on immigration. This is the party who had promised to bring it down at every general election, but instead it has gone up. Now remember, immigration rising is not a problem in itself, but the Conservatives have tried to make it a problem and then be the solution. And now it's blown up in their faces. Let me know in the comment section, guys, what you think. As always, your comments are greatly appreciated. Thanks a lot.